Good evening, class. This is Professor Wilcox, and we're going to be doing a brief review of the core concepts exam. Now, if you're watching this um, at a later time, you can certainly ask questions of me in the forum still. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each page of the exam and give you some suggestions. If you happen to be on while I'm doing this instead of watching, Scott Baio at the Republican National Convention, um, if you're doing that, then you should continue to do that. But if you have questions as I'm giving this recitation of suggestions, please feel free to ask them in the forum, and I'll monitor the forum as we go. So just for due diligence, I'm going to go ahead and, we have Greg here. Greg says hello. Hello, Greg. Okay, back. Okay, so I am going to just start right in, and I'm going to show my screen. Hold on for a second. Oh, that's not it. 1 second. Ah, there it is. Okay, so here is the core concept exam. And one thing I wanted to point out is that the practice exam is identical. All the questions are pulled from the same question pool. So go ahead and use that as many times as you want to prepare. Also, there's a list of assignments that I pull from. So please, if you have questions, just go ahead and ask them. But you can use the practice exam to prepare. Now, for this first page, all we're asking you to do is identify pitches. And by this point, you should feel fairly comfortable counting and finding individual pitches. Where it gets a little more complicated is where we provide you with a piano. And remember, we're asking you to find the note on the staff on the piano. So we don't give you every number because that would be a lot of little numbers to put on this graphic. But for instance, for this pitch, you can again start with the F in bass clef. So that would be 33. That would be the F here. And then you can go down. So this would be F, E, D, C, B, A, G. So F, and then you can also do E, D, C, B, A, G. So here would be a G, but here we've got an octave bass sign. So we're going to go an octave below that, down to the G below. So this would be 9, 10, 11 right there. And again, same thing with the ottava sign, which says an octave above. So here we'd have, if we start on the G line, it's the G above middle C. So right there it would be key 47, but G, so G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G flat, right? So if we start on that G, we can go up an octave to G and then G flat, and then the ottava sign says to go another octave up. So this would be 70, right? Now, you can write that down if you want, but there's no guarantee that you'll get that identical question, but you certainly will get a similar question. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this particular page. I'm going to check and make sure we've got no questions, just because this particular page should be pretty easy. Oh, let's see, we do have a question here. Okay, so I see that Craig has a question about the octave ottava signs, octave up and octave down. Do you want to type that into the bar? There's actually a bit of delay from what you see when I'm speaking, and I'm actually in Taiwan right now, which is why you get all the daylight in here. So go ahead and type questions you have right into the forum, and don't delay for when I get there. But maybe since there is a question, I'm going to go ahead and flip back and do a couple more. So here we have an octave sign, again an ottava sign, which means an octave above, and you'll see the line is above. And you're really only going to get these in treble clef, just like you're only going to get the octave down in bass clef. But let's try this. This is if we go to our G line again, we can count G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So this is some sort of A, it's an A flat, and then it's an octave above that. So if we start on middle C, and then we can hop up to our G, C, D, E, F, G, and we go an octave higher to the G above that. We go an octave higher to the G above that, and then we go one more semitone to an A flat. So this would be 69, 70, 71, 72. So this would be 72. Same thing here. We have an E sharp. So if we, again, just in terms of trying to find it on the piano, if we start middle C, we can go to the G above that, which is this line right here. And if we hop up to the E above that, C, D, E, that would be on key 56. That would be the E on the top of the staff here. And if we went up to 57, which you can actually see right there, that would be an E sharp, which is played on the F key, right? And then we can hop up from 57 all the way up to 69, which is an octave above that. And then we want another octave above that, so 81. So you'd put an 81 in the blank. If you get a 15 MA sign, which I'm not seeing any on right here, you get 2 octaves above. Let me see if that question got any. Okay, Greg seems like he's got sorted on that. So really, what I do is I simply find the note on the staff, on the piano, and then I go an octave down or an octave up, depending on what the sign tells me. So unless there's any really great need to review, I'm going to go on to page 2, where things get a little more difficult. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply start going through some of these questions, just like you'll see on your exam. And if you have a question, you can feel free to type it. Okay, so generally speaking, I just hone right in on each element. So it says here, 3 beats per measure. So if you have 3 beats per measure, it's not going to be some sort of triple. So you either have a simple triple or a compound triple. You've eliminated all but 2, and the divisions of each beat are by 3. So it's compound. Compound is a division by 3, simple is a division by 2. So compound, triple. So it's just a matter of eliminating some of these options. All right, you've got a simple meter, which means you're going to divide it by 2. So if the beat is divided by 2 and your beat is a 16th note, a 16th note divided by 2 would be a 32nd note. So you're going to go right here for this first one. And notice you have the flag are like 2, imagine them in like 2 beams that have kind of become disconnected and just sort of flopping there. So you have 2, and here you have 3. So this is your 32nd note. So simple divided by 2, and then so you divide the beat we give you by 2. Here we have simple, and the beat is an 8th note. So that would be 2 16th notes. So right there, 2 16th notes. Let's see if we can get a compound. Well, let's just keep going through some. And again, be sure to ask if we come to it, if something doesn't make sense. Here we have 4 beats, right? So it's going to be some sort of quadruple. So compound quadruple or simple quadruple. And then we have 3 divisions. So 3 divisions is compound. So compound quadruple, 2 beats. So we're going to have simple duple or compound duple, 2 divisions. So it's a simple division. So simple duple. Compound quadruple, right? So we're told right here 3, 4, right? So we're going to have 4 beats. That's the quadruple meter, and then the compound is going to divide by 3. Simple, and the beat is a quarter note. So we're going to divide our quarter note by 2 eighth notes. This one's a little more complicated. Here it tells you have a compound meter, and the beat is a dotted whole note. So this is actually a little tricky, but it tells you, right? You're going to divide this beat by 3, and as most all of these actually, when you divide a beat, you're going to get the next value of note durations down. So if we divide our whole notes, we're going to get some sort of half notes. Now the dot essentially adds half again the value. So we have a whole note, which is 2 half notes, right? Plus another half note, plus another half again the value. So if we divide a whole note or a dotted whole note by 3, by compound, we get 3 half notes, right? So there's a whole note right there, 2 half notes, and then 1 more half note would be a dotted half note. Again, and what you'll find with these dotted notes, when you do a compound division of a dotted note, you don't get dots anymore. The dots go away. If you did a simple division, you'd still have dots, but a compound division, not so much. So if you have half notes, a dotted half note, you're going to get some sort of quarter note, so 3 quarter notes. And remember, the dotted half is a half, which is 2 quarters plus 1 more quarter, plus 1 more, plus half the duration, so 1 more quarter. So compound dotted half note would be 3 quarter notes. Sorry, I'm a little sleepy. Compound meter is division of the beat by 3. We give you this. So what would this be? We have a dotted 16th note. So again, just sort of cover up the dot for a second, and we just look at the 16th note. If we divide the 16th note, we get 2 32nd notes, and then 1 more 32nd note for the dot, because we're getting half the value, half again the value. So if this value was 2 32nd notes, half again would be 1 more 32nd note, so 3 32nd notes right there. Remember, this is the 16th, 2, and then 3 bars would be 32nd notes. 3 eighths. So how many beats? Let's go into meter. And 3 eighths is kind of, this is one of those ones you just have to remember. And I'll look at the rest of them in a second. But with 2 on the top, 3 on the top, or 4 on the top, the bottom tells you what kind of note gets the beat. So I'll just reiterate that. We're going to come to meter. Okay, we're actually getting questions. You've been saying again how you quickly figure out, let's say, simple triple or compound duple or compound triple. Well, with simple, the beat's going to divide into 2 parts, and with compound, the beat's going to divide into 3 parts. What exactly? Simple. Okay, so we're actually getting to meter here. What your question is, because what we've been doing so far is just dividing individual beats. But when we talk about meter, we'll talk about beats and divisions of beats. But let me go ahead and just look at one more. For each question, we're going to tell you compound. And if we tell you compound meter, it's invariably going to have a dot, right? Because in order to make a division by 3, you need the base note and you need the dot. And the base note The base note will be divided by 2, so 2 32nd notes and a 16th note. And the dot adds half again the value. So I already said we had 2 32nd notes and our 16th note. So half again the value is another 32nd note. So we're going to get 3 32nd notes. So I just look down for 3. So when I tell you compound, you can go through and you can just eliminate anything with just 2 notes under the beam, and which reduces half your options. And then, frankly, if we're asking you to divide, you're going to go to the next value down. So you don't even really have to pay a lot of attention to this. You can go, oh, it's a compound division. We have 16th notes. We need 32nd notes. So here's the compound division. We need 3 32nd notes. Here we have a compound division. It's going to divide into 3, so I can eliminate all my 2's. So I have this one, and this one, right? Compound division, and the beat is a half note, some type of half note, so we're going to need some type of quarter note. And frankly, remember, when you divide a compound division of a note with a dot, you're going to get 3 notes without dots. So here we'd have a half note, which is 2 quarters, and then 1 more quarter, so 3 quarters, right there. Hopefully that makes sense, and if you still have questions as we proceed on, hopefully some of this will answer that. All right, so meter. There's kind of 2 groups of meters, and it all depends on the top number. So there's simple meters and there's compound meters, which is sort of what we've been discussing. Simple meters